Welcome back to the Radio Academy podcast. I'm your host, Georgy Jamieson, and this week we talk about apprenticeships. If you're looking to get into radio or audio, then the BBC Apprenticeship Scheme could be for you. I chatted with two previous BBC apprentices, Burdett and Pearl Adewale, along with BBC Scheme's portfolio manager, Ellena Stojanovic. I asked Ellena to outline what types of apprenticeships are available through the scheme.
The BBC has a large portfolio of schemes that we offer. Probably year on year, we offer about 30 to 40 different apprenticeship schemes. And broadly, they're in 5 sort of subject areas. So the two that probably most people would think of, which is production, which is, let's say, ostensibly programme making across all the platforms, radio, TV, audio, digital, online, and journalism, which is the work that we do in our newsrooms and current affairs. But we also have a really wide slate of apprenticeships in business, and in data, digital and technology, and also in engineering and operations. And we're possibly less known for that range of apprenticeships. So it's not one sort of BBC apprentice scheme, it's a whole suite of apprenticeships that we offer.
And how long do they last? Is it a year-long programme? How long would people be in the scheme?
It depends on which scheme people are doing. Apprenticeships, there are different levels of apprenticeship. Very broadly speaking, a level 3 apprenticeship is sort of A-level in terms of academic equivalent. A level 4 and a 5 is what would be a foundation degree level. A level 6 is an actual degree. So you get, with all of them, you get a formal qualification at the end. You get an apprenticeship qualification that's nationally recognised. But with the 6, that's an actual degree. So if you're doing a level 6 apprenticeship, you get a degree qualification at the end. And then there's level 7, which is what's the equivalent academically to, in terms of qualification, to a postgraduate or a master's sort of level. I'm saying all that to say that they vary depending on the level of scheme. They vary. A lot of our levels 3 to 5 are between 18 months and 2 years. The 6s tend to be 3 to 4 years, and the 7s are anything between 2 years and 4 years. But that's a very, very broad brushstroke about it. They vary according to subject and discipline and level.
And as well as the academic qualifications within the apprenticeship, there is obviously hands-on training, hands-on work in all different parts of the BBC. Are these just based in big centres like Broadcasting House, like in London or Salford, or are they all over the country?
We have apprenticeships way up in Orkney and the Shetland Islands. We've got one in Dumfries this year, right down to Jersey and Guernsey. The BBC has 62 bases in all across the UK, and we have got apprentices in year on year in about 30 to 40 of those. So it's not just in the big bases now.
So this is countrywide. Anywhere where people live, they can apply. They don't have to move away. I think that's quite important, isn't it, to stress that it's somewhere you can stay where you normally live.
It's a very important part of a pan BBC and a core BBC strategy, is that, we serve the UK and the world, and it's very important that people have those opportunities at bases near them. And certainly for often people who are, and you'll hear more about this from Lucy and Pearl, but often if people are of school leaving age or college leaving age, they may want to be near home, or even for all sorts of reasons, even not, at that age demographic. Maybe you're a career changer, or maybe you're just going back into the workplace after not working for a long time, and it's important for you to be near to your home base. All sorts of life reasons why people want to do that, and it's really, really important that the BBC is able to make that offer and to offer those opportunities.
Lucy, let's turn to you. You are a former apprentice. Just tell us a bit about when you were an apprentice and what you did.
Yeah, so I began my apprenticeship in September 2022. So that was just a few months after I finished my A-levels. So I went straight from school to the BBC Apprenticeship. I did the level 3 business administration, and that was in Birmingham in the Meltbox, where I'm still based now. I'm graduated.
How has your career moved on since completing that apprenticeship? What have you gone on to do?
Since I finished the apprenticeship scheme, I was offered a permanent job in the same department that I completed my apprenticeship. My role at the moment is a training advisor, and I'm in charge of coordinating and scheduling all of the BBC's production training. So anything from editing to camera and all of those kinds of things that are crucial to the BBC's work. Alongside that, I also really enjoy getting involved in the legacy of apprenticeships, really. We have something called the Apprentice Community, which is essentially a staff network for BBC apprentices, just a space for them to get to know each other and, just really profit from each other's experiences. I am currently co-chair of that, but previous to that, whilst I was still doing my apprenticeship, I was the Birmingham representative for the community.
How did you go about applying? What kind of things do you think helped get you that apprenticeship?
I think it was quite a difficult thing for me to apply. I think just not because of the application process, but in terms of the decision making. I was really unsure in year 13, the final year of sixth form, what I wanted to do. I went to quite an academic one where almost everyone was going to university, and at first I thought that was what I was going to be doing, just because everyone else was, essentially. And then because I'm dyslexic and dyspraxic, I was struggling quite a lot with the exams, and then I started to think, actually, maybe that isn't what I want to do just because everyone else is doing it. So then I started talking to my parents about this, and it was actually my mum that spotted that the BBC did lots of apprenticeships, which I hadn't even thought about doing something like that. So then once I began, I just didn't really know where to start, to be honest, because I'd never applied for a job, really, well, not like a corporate job anyway. It was a bit of a scary experience for me at first, but I started to realise that it wasn't actually the were just normal people doing my interviews, doing my assessment centres, which I think really helped. Trying to think about what transferable skills you have is a good place to start when you start thinking about what you want to write in your application, because most people that are applying for the apprenticeships have never worked in a company like the BBC. Often they're school leavers, university leavers, or perhaps career changers, so they don't have any experience. So just thinking about what you've done and how you could apply that to the role. They don't expect you to have done it before. The whole point is with an apprenticeship that you learn.
Pearl, tell us about your apprenticeship then. When were you an apprentice, and what department, what area of apprenticeship did you do?
My apprenticeship started in January 2022. And I did the level 4 production management scheme with my placement, which was BBC 3. And I graduated in September 2023. My line manager was extremely accommodating and facilitating in terms of kind of what I wanted to do. She always asked me, what are your goals? Where do you aspire to be? What career do you want to get into? And also I had a schemes specialist manager who was Lisa Burton, who was mine. And she was always checking up on us, ensuring that we were well taken care of and ensuring that we were actually enjoying our placement as well. We also had training as well.
If someone's listening to this now and they're thinking about applying, but they think, I don't know whether this is for me, I'm not sure I've got the right skills or experience to apply, what would you say about any of those concerns or worries?
I would say that they are all totally understandable and relatable worries. We are all just human beings. We all have those anxieties. But I will say it's very difficult. It's much easier said than done. And I absolutely get that. In terms of if you have some access issues, we are very proud to be a level 2 disability confident organisation. And we will work with you right from the get-go, from when you decide to start filling in that application form. If you need assistance in any way, shape or form, our talent acquisition team will work with you on that in confidence. There is a form that you can fill in right from the get-go. In terms of, you don't know if it's for me and if you've got the right skills, obviously the different levels of apprenticeship have different eligibility criteria for entry. So if you want to do a broadcast and media systems engineer level 6 degree apprenticeship, that has some different eligibility criteria in terms of academic qualifications than, say, for example, the production level 3 apprenticeship. But it's really, really important that in terms of the right skills and are you the right person, what we are trying very, very hard to do is to see your potential and what we can do and teach you. Wherever we can, we are stripping out the academic requirement. All of our apprenticeships are delivered by external training providers because the BBC isn't an accredited training provider. So they're all delivered by external training providers that we spend a long time in going through a procurement process and vetting who we work with, who can deliver the best standard apprenticeship for the BBC's needs, for the organisation's needs, for the creative industry's needs. They may have their own eligibility requirements, but where the BBC can, we are stripping those out because, as I said, going back to my point about not everybody has the same opportunities up to this point. So what we want to see is your passion for working with us and your potential of where we can take you. People often say, what are you looking for? And again, picking up on that question to Lucy, we can't say this enough, but I'm really conscious that it can sound a little bit trite. But we really do want you to bring your authentic self to the table and speak in your own voice. So when people ask me, what are you looking for? My answer to that is, well, there's absolutely no point in me answering that question because then I'll just have 20 people who are all something that are, that is exactly what we're trying not to do, is have all versions of the same thing. I would much rather you tell me what it is I'm looking for. What are you bringing to the BBC? That's the really important bit. It's lovely. The BBC is offering opportunity. That is absolutely great. But it's a two-way street and it's about what are you bringing to the BBC that the BBC needs. And I think, both Lucy and Pearl, I think you can feel their enthusiasm and their energy. Somewhere you've got to be brave for 20 seconds. Think about what it is you want to do. Think about what you're bringing to the table and have that passion. That's really, really important.
Lucy, what would you say to someone who's thinking of applying for an apprenticeship with the BBC at the moment? What one piece of advice would you give them?
Don't be scared. The worst that can happen is they say no. And even if they do say no, you can reapply again, which I know a lot of people have done. You'll get valuable experience, whatever happens.
And Pearl, same for you. What one piece of advice would you give someone who's thinking of applying right now?
I'd say just go for it. What's the worst that could happen? I wanted to apply for the production scheme, but I said, you know what, let me do something different, which is production management. And Lord and behold, I ended up getting it. And it was just the most incredible thing that changed my life completely. So I'd say just be bold. Go. If you see it, it's a sign to just do it. And when you're going through, if you get through and get to the interview stage, just be yourself. And I think that's what really helped me. I was just myself. I didn't treat it as an interview stage. I just treated it as I'm having a conversation with somebody on the other end. And it just worked out in my favour. So that's my advice.
I'm really glad that you've sort of made real that be yourself thing, because I know it is easy to say, but as it happens, by coincidence, I was actually in Pearl's assessment centre and she has remained that person. The person that she brought to the table that day, to that assessment centre, is the person that she is.
Thank you so much. Ellena, can you just give us the details of how people can apply and find the various schemes and information on the website, please?
Yes, absolutely. We are open for application at the moment. Some schemes close for application on the 28th of November, so be quick on those. Others will open on the 10th of December through to the 17th of January. And you can find all of the information at bbc.co.uk/early careers. And you can follow us at BBC Get In on Insta.
A big thank you to Ellena, Lucy and Pearl. If you'd like to find out more about the BBC Apprenticeship Scheme and apply, then go to careers.bbc.co.uk. Congratulations to our 30 under 30 who have now all been revealed. Visit our website radioacademy.org to find out more about the class of 2024. Next week, I find out about a new podcast, Outside In, from the Prison Radio Association, and also we talk about their talent development scheme. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get this podcast. We really appreciate it. And I'll see you next week.